Hello, I'm the Masked Analyst. This is the fourth in a series of videos on YouTube's flawed implementation of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. If you don't have a thorough understanding of how the DMCA works and how YouTube's implementation of the DMCA works, then I strongly suggest you watch my previous three videos first. In this video, I will note an ironic and probably unintended side effect of how the DMCA interacts with YouTube's policy, and I will present three scenarios to illustrate just how morally wrong YouTube's implementation of the DMCA really is. YouTube values your privacy. They value it so much that if someone uses their site to reveal personal information about you, then they will suspend their account. They value your privacy so much that their community guidelines states, and I'm quoting, "There is zero tolerance for predatory behavior, stalking, threats, harassment, invading privacy, or revealing other members' personal information. Anyone caught doing these things may be permanently banned from YouTube." So YouTube values your safety and your right to remain anonymous, or so they would have you believe. But my situation makes me question just how deep their commitment to their users really is. As I mentioned in my previous video, a user named Red Skull threatened several other YouTubers with rape and violence or death. I believe we all have the right to post anonymously, but we lose that right once we threaten to rape or kill others. No one should have the right to remain anonymous once they have crossed that line. I know Red Skull's real name because someone else had discovered it and posted it on YouTube. The account of the person who dropped Red Skull's docs was soon suspended. Though I believe I should have the right to state Red Skull's real name on YouTube because he has crossed over this line, doing so would have resulted in my account being suspended. Red Skull's account was eventually suspended. I'm not sure exactly why YouTube suspended him. He's committed so many TOS violations that it is impossible to know for sure just which one finally did him in. It looks like he was suspended for dropping someone else's docs, but again, there were so many grounds on which YouTube could have suspended him that it is hard to know for sure. In any case, Red Skull didn't let his suspension stop him from returning to YouTube. He must have come back at least a half a dozen times under new illicit accounts. Sometimes he made videos that were fun to watch, and sometimes he just came back to fight others. I don't want to rehash old battles that few people really care about, but I believe his behavior toward me can only be characterized as stalking and harassing. On July 26, 2007, Red Skull told a third party to pass the word on to me that he had learned my identity and that he knew my address. Just 4 days later, he made a video in which he made a veiled death threat against me. I determined within a few days of this that he was bluffing and that he didn't really know who I am or where exactly I lived. But there is no other way to characterize his behavior than as an attempt to harass and terrorize me. And this wasn't his first attempt to intimidate others to get off of YouTube. He once made a video in which he made an explicit death threat against Arcane, the person who was probably responsible for revealing Red Skull's identity in the first place. He also made a video containing a veiled death threat against MG Papas. As far as I can tell, both these people left YouTube after Red Skull made his threats. So here's the irony of the situation. Red Skull got YouTube to suspend my account by sending a totally bogus DMCA complaint, and YouTube would not give me back my account unless I filed a counter notification. And if I filed a counter notice, then I would have had to sign my own name and address, and YouTube would have then turned this over to Red Skull. Or I would have had to sign a fake name and address and commit perjury. Now YouTube, as you can see, they did eventually restore my account, but it took well over 4 months. And I'm still not sure why they suddenly returned my account. I assume that it has something to do with the flap over the Xenu TV one being suspended, but I'm not really sure. But that was the situation that they put me in. In other words, YouTube forced me to give up my own anonymity to a stalker and harasser if I wanted to return to their site. YouTube's own actions violated their own policy against revealing personal information. Well, maybe they didn't violate their own policy, at least the letter of their own policy, since they didn't drop my docs. But they were putting me in a position where I would have had to drop my own docs or commit perjury in order to return. They didn't violate the letter of their policy of protecting the anonymity of their users, but they violated its spirit. They didn't just violate the spirit of the policy, they folded it, They spindled it and they mutilated it. They kicked the shit out of it. They choked it with mustard gas and dropped napalm on it. Now YouTube will probably tell you that they had no choice in this. They will tell you that they had to follow the DMCA, and it was the DMCA which mandated that they gave Red Skull a copy of my counter notice which bears my name. As I discussed in my second video, this is bullshit. The DMCA does not mandate that they do this. If they don't follow the procedure, then no one is going to send anyone at YouTube to jail. YouTube isn't like a radio station that is risking having its operating license removed. And in my particular case, YouTube risked absolutely nothing by restoring my account. The DMCA gives YouTube immunity from being sued for copyright infringement. If YouTube followed the steps outlined by the DMCA, then they could not be sued for copyright infringement. But in my case, it was obvious that no copyright infringing activity took place. I will post a link in the sidebar to the video that I reposted that got me suspended. Watch the first 3.5 minutes and you will realize that there could not have been any infringement. Moreover, Red Skull has informed me in writing that he sent in the bogus DMCA. There's no way he's going to sue YouTube over a video he has no copyright interest in and put himself in a position of having to admit in court that he perjured himself by sending a false DMCA. YouTube risks nothing by ignoring this false DMCA and restoring my account. They risked absolutely nothing. And what their actions did is really it just emboldens internet bullies that YouTube would reward bad behavior. Okay, I'm going to stop recording this video now so I don't go too long, and if people want to upload the video to their channels, they're welcome to it. But I'll stop it now, and then when I come back in the second part, I'll discuss 3 scenarios and raise questions that I'm sure YouTube won't want to answer. So stay tuned.